forward to resolution 182?
Sure.
So we're going to talk about that right now.
So we don't have to
All right,
stay
caucus
here
is officially open. We're looking at resolution 182.
So the open space plan, which was brought to laws and rules this past month, the stuff that we're doing right now isn't about, well, it's kind of two parts. So I explained, right now what we're doing is just entering a coordinated review of the process. So meaning we go through decide if it's a secret determination. So it's really the start of a longer process, but the open space in general, so we're not even at this step yet, is what Rennie was saying is more of an inventory. So it's like we want to have this amount of land, we want to have these amount of parks and trees, but not necessarily saying this is the land that we're going to take. It's just saying, I think it's over a 10-year, is that correct?
Yes.
A 10-year time period. If we were to adapt this as part of the comprehensive plan, which isn't actually even what we're talking about right now, what we would do is just review, if we pass this tomorrow, we would just be reviewing the process as the SEEKR, which is the State Environmental Quality Review Act. So we're not, that's what that is. Like, do you have any questions on, so it's like the two steps?
So what we want to get on the record, on the tape recorder, that everybody in this room is aware that the open space plan consists with a parcel that has a affordable housing development that has been proposed for the last 10 years, has gone through the SEQR process. It's approximately 60 units of affordable housing. It is desperately needed in this city, and a plan was now created to eliminate it. When it absolutely, if it gets redesignated, it appears that there could have been a way to redraw the lines around the parcel, getting everything that they want in the open space, just like they did down on the Roundout Creek, versus just taking a swath of land to eliminate the affordable housing project. So we want to make sure that everybody understands that there needs to be a balance between open space and housing, and by creating this plan the way it was created, it was specifically to eliminate an affordable housing project.
Where do you see that in the plan?
Exactly. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? If you look
The
at
information
that,
that you sent me is
Yes.
now being followed to laws and rules, so that will be in laws and rules.
Yeah, so tonight and tomorrow's vote is not about actually adapting the open space
But,
plan, just so
yes,
you're
but Reverend
a little bit
Charles-
more comfortable knowing that. And I guess
I understand it, but I think it's important that everyone understands that for a long period of time, we've been working on having senior citizen housing in this area.
Sure.
The things that I've heard really don't make a lot of sense. One of them is that this land is in a floodplain. And so they said, so it will never happen. Well, that's not true, because this land has been engineered, and the way that the building would go, it'll be like 10 feet over what the floodplain. For a fact, you know, the engineer here said that if that land floods, then all the plaza will be underwater before it ever gets to where we're building. So it's important that everyone knows that it's senior housing, which we need, and that land has been included in this plan. Now, whether you say it doesn't mean anything, we don't know that. What we know is that it's here. It's they show very specifically the land that is owned is on this plan as open space land. And so it makes us very nervous, because we say, why is it there? They know that we own it, we know it's supposed to be for housing, why are they putting it down this way? Also, the organization had offered them to have a portion of the land they had to go to open air and to make a deal on that. So,
I'm sorry,
we're
offered
concerned.
whom? Offered whom?
They offer the
Off of the
city.
city, nine,
To the
off of the
city.
city land,
No.
They
Yes.
offered to the
9
city,
acres, was it?
so that
9
they could
acres?
have like 10 acres, I think it was,
Yes.
that they said we don't really need, and it would be nice for senior citizens to have some more open space and whatnot.
Right.
So the idea of, which I was told when I talked to the mayor and so on, I was told, first of all, that it can't happen because it's in a floodplain. Well, they built above the floodplain,
Uh-huh.
okay? But when you put it in here, it gets us frightened to say, well, wait a minute, what is this? Why are they including this within the plan for open space?
But you've gotten approval from the planning board, or you're in the process?
Yes, it was approved.
Went
Yeah.
through secret too,
We
so
sent
I'm
it
not.
back.
So the package, did everybody receive that?
Didn't anybody
Did you-
read?
I didn't see that. I thought you sent it out.
It was sent to all the people.
So, you know, I've been speaking to
I got it.
James Childs and
Oh, my name is Joe.
And so we've had discussions on this, and I wanted them to come to this meeting to be able to speak about it, because the information they showed me, and I found it, like, yeah, the land that they're talking about, that they have, and it's gone through the planning
Oh, yeah,
board,
I
and
saw
a
it.
negative, a negative declaration, all of a sudden it is on this part where they're saying,
I didn't.
we might want open space. So again, they are concerned, because they're seeing this project that's been going on for how long now?
Almost 10 years.
10 years, is now all of a sudden it's showing up on this map, and they weren't aware of it. And so they do have concerns, and that's why I wanted them to come here to address those concerns in front of the common council.
I
And
must say
I-
that, you know, it bothers me in several different ways. For example, the reason that this project has not gone forward is because the railroad goes across this property, you know, rail line. And in order to get onto the land that we have, because it's closed in, you've got to go over the railroad, which means the county has to give a right of way for that. Now, they've done that for a number of people. I mean, our
There's
church
over
has
30
it. There's over 30 people that have gotten this. But for some reason, that's been messed with and a whole lot of politicizing and things and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that has not been, and that's what has held it up, okay? And the thing about it, part of it, there's two rail lines, right? And one rail line is on the property that's owned by the organization. And they've offered to the county to say, listen, you need this, we need right of way over yours, let's swap and move on so we can do this project. And for whatever reason, that has not happened, and of course, we're talking to the county legislature. I talked to Mr. Donaldson a few days ago, and he said his vote, he didn't understand what he was voting for was not what's happening. I really, to be totally honest, I think that what's happening is, it's like this organization is not from Ulster County, from Kingston, and because of that, we're sort of like, well, they're not our people, so we'll push this stuff off. And I hope that's not what it is, but it sounds like it. But senior housing is needed.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to stand in the way of a project like that. And my guess, this is my guess, and I only got this information late on Friday, so I haven't been able to check all the appropriate people. But my guess is that what happened is that the folks who were doing the inventory saw the space, didn't necessarily check with the planning board on all the properties that they were looking at. So you've got one part of the government looking in one way, a different part acting in a
It's
different
also,
way.
sorry, but it's a consultant who did that. So
Yeah.
it's not a person from the city of
They
Kingston.
are
who did it.
quite familiar, the mayor on his license, quite
No, I'm just
familiar
a
with it.
consultant who did
If
it.
you
So that's the land
asked the consultants, I'd
that
love
they
if
own.
somebody would call me.
And it's in that,
Was
they
he
put in
aware
that, they put in the
that
plans.
a project was cited for that
That's
site?
Western, right? Up
I would
at
be
that.
very
20
surprised
places back
if
here,
they would
yeah.
say no.
Trailways.
Because they've been working on it for quite a long time and they researched every one of the parcels. So this is not thrown haphazardly. When you look at the map, you can very clearly see down on the Roundout Creek, parcels included, not included, not included. But up here, by the Esopus Creek, it was a swath of 30 to 40 acres. There's no reason for it, other than someone else has an agenda.
And understand, right, that because what was done, there's engineering that's been done, it costs a lot of money, there's architectural work, all this stuff has been done and paid for. And then something like this comes, it's got us very nervous.
Sure.
And say, hey, you know, this just can't be, you need to understand what's going on. And I don't know if everybody even knew that they were gonna build housing up there. You know, and that's what bothers us. So that's why we're here to say, we don't say don't pass it, we say table it until you can do the research that's necessary so you understand what we're talking about.
I think that's a great idea to table this.
Absolutely.
So it will be coming to my, sorry, mean,
We'll never do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this resolution, as you're saying, Andrea, was to do an inventory, basically go around, you're saying, see, instant, and get the inventory, that's already been done.
that's already been done.
And that is part of that picture right there, that, the map.
Yeah, that, the inventory's been done, the consultant came and did that. What Julie Noble came to Laws and Rules is to ask us to go through a seeker process for this. Not to, this isn't to adapt it into the comprehensive plan, although that is the Conservation Advisory Council's intent.
That would be for all of the lands involved though, but that one
would be-
particular space that we're talking about has already gone through that process, from
Well,
what I
it-
understand.
Yeah, but I think it would, the whole scope of it, so it would still, it's not like they would take that away and say that's already been through it. It's the scope of this plan would go through the secret process. The plan itself
I-
would go through it.
Andrew,
Well, we can also tell them to take that parcel out. We don't.
We can
don't
tell
have
them to do that.
Yeah. I mean, and
It's
at the very
something we
least, we
think
just
that-
don't approve the open space plan if there's some kind of refusal on their part.
Mhm.
We
I'm just saying,
say,
yeah, I'm just saying
Yeah.
what Julie came and asked us to do and what this resolution was, because we're not aware of this, that's all.
Mhm.
That's, I'm not saying we can't do it or anything like that, but.
There's no
this whole
rush,
plan
right?
is-
There's no
Is there a rush on
deadline-
this?
Deadline or
There's not a
anything?
rush, no.
no,
Why don't we table it until we get more information?
Julie
Yeah.
can come, explain everything, look at the parcel, know exactly what everybody agrees on, and go from there.
Yeah, because we could just, I mean, again, it would ease a lot of people's minds if that was not in that, on that map.
sure.
and would it make sense to have someone from planning here since they've been
Mhm.
with this project for the last 10 years?
Absolutely.
To say, yeah, I mean,
Suzanne Cahill,
Yeah.
right, she's in planning.
well,
She has had known about this right along.
Yeah.
She's been supportive of it, county council was supportive of it at the time. Everything has been approved.
Yeah.
See, a lot of the comments go back to different administrations. Like
Mhm.
Salzman's quoted in it, Ralph's quoted in it,
correct.
on different, about the project. So,
Uh-huh.
you really gotta look at
Yeah,
it to get
so,
true flavor here.
Okay, so who would like to
I have a
stand up
motion.
tomorrow night and
I'll motion, I'll
do
stand.
it tomorrow night? Okay. All right. So we will send it back, all right? Even though this is a two-step process, so we're nowhere near approving any of this, all right? So don't worry.
I think it's safe to say, at least on behalf of myself, and I think I can speak on behalf of my colleagues, that nobody here there's nothing political going on that anyone had an interest here. If there's something we didn't know about, that's one thing, but I don't think that anyone was trying to pull a fast one or do anything inappropriate or wrong or illegal, so
Well,
our intentions are
we
good.
understand
Our
that.
intentions are
That's why
good.
we made sure that we sent to all the people the
Okay.
information so that you have something
Yeah,
to
we'll
look
work
at
together
and
for sure.
understand.
Okay.
See, I plan to move into that senior citizen.
Yeah, I'm right,
Come on.
Hey, I'm right behind you.
You gotta outlive all of it.
I know, there's no doubt about that.
So we just have to do that on the floor tomorrow.
We'll do that on the
Okay,
floor
all
tomorrow.
right. All right, so, yeah, so
Thank you,
I'll
Rennie.
stand up and
Sure.
motion to send it back.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to
You're
second
welcome.
it
Thank
tomorrow
you.
night when Tony read it?
I'll second it.
You'll second it? Okay,
Yeah.
just make sure. All right.
Okay,
Yes,
Thank you.
Very good.
all
All
right,
right,
take
thanks for
care,
coming.
take care.
All right, good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to jump to, well, let's start with Resolution 167, which should just take a second.
Yes.
Hold on a second, one short thing to do. All right,
Mhm.
Okay, resolution 167 out of finance is a request by John Tui to just do some balancing, adjust some accounts mid-year. There's no financial impact. Transfer totaling $14,000 to adjust accounts.
Question, do you know what the equipment maintenance is? $7,500?
No.
That almost sounds like something that should be in the budget every year if it's that expensive.
I don't know.
Okay.
Could you call John Tui and ask him tomorrow?
Sure.
Doug? Okay.
Equipment maintenance, 7,500.
It says outmoded adding machines they have down
Let's
there.
see if he says,
They have people's cars and pieces.
equipment maintenance, I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, it's such a large number, and it's maintenance, which is, you think every year, you know, so you think that would already be in the budget?
Okay. Good question.
I'll do
I'd say
that.
it was like for
Unless, could it be
Years.
for one of the vehicles they use in parking?
That's a lot of money too, though.
Yeah.
They got a brand new truck and everything, and I don't know
Yeah.
where the cost would be in the vehicle, I'm not saying.
All right. Okay, now, Cooper Lake Dam. $7 million, that's all?
The first couple of phases,
Okay.
that's the top of the proverbial bubble.
So, did anybody have specific questions about this particular issue?
I have more financial questions. I'm just trying to get a handle on the cost.
Uh-huh.
So Judy, we're theoretically looking at borrowing what, 4 million if we can get the 3 million of the total 7 million?
Right. This project, and I apologize, when you had your previous meeting, the finance meeting, I was on vacation. So when Debbie, our chief operator, came to answer questions, she felt she didn't do a really good job, and there were people that went away that didn't have the questions answered.
She did a good job.
She did, but
She got grilled pretty good.
well, and she doesn't, she gets very nervous.
No, she did
Well.
fine.
So anyway, this is probably gonna be a 12 million-ish project.
Total, your cost?
Total, you have 3 phases. The first phase is the connection, temporary connection to the Ashokan, because during the construction project, we have to lower Cooper Lake 10 feet. So we're starting at 61% capacity instead of 100%, which is where we start every spring.
You gonna excavate any material out of there?
No, there's no reason to dredge it, but.
No, you don't think?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think the 1955 bathymetric map that they did, we just redid it with sonar, and they were dead on. The numbers are the same, so there's really no reason to dredge it.
I mean, increase capacity, that's the only thing I was thinking.
Well, we looked at that, and this would be the ideal time to raise it 5 vertical feet, but the cost would be $20 million.
Oh, okay.
So what the board doesn't want to renovate and rehabilitate the main dam, and then 5 years from now, when we're all going, oh my God, you know, we need a bigger bowl to hold that water because the impacts of climate change. What they're going to do is they're going to raise the main dam, since we're doing that work anyway, to accommodate an eventual
in the
5-foot
future.
rise. So
Okay.
that's going to be done. And you can't go above 5 feet unless you move the state highway 212. That's kind of our upper limit there.
I see.
And so then we'd have to come back and just do the west dike, that work on Cooper Lake Road. There'd be some work to do. This would not, nothing that we would do in this project would harm that or have to be rewetted.
You wasted, okay.
Right. So the first phase was, because we have to drop the reservoir, our emergency plans and our drought plans always call to hook up to Cooper, to hook up to the Ashokan when we get into a real serious drought.
You just leave it, right?
What?
You just leave the hookup after you're...
No, because there's a meter there and they're charging.
Well, I don't say use it, you only use it if you turn it on, right?
Right.
The meter runs?
Well, it would be temporary pipe,
Ah,
and that's pretty easy to roll out. We could eventually look at a project that maybe would make that permanent, but that's not what we're talking about now. On either end, there's a vault and a valve to dump that pipe into our transmission main above our treatment plant. And then on the other end, years ago when we did this in 1980, now I wasn't here then, but I read all the reports, we did it in 57 during that bad drought. They let us put diesel pumps on the shore of the reservoir. You're not going to do that.
really?
No, you have to use electric now. So you probably understand what the time lag is to get a 3-phase electric drop from Central Hudson. So in a normal traditional drought, we'd be able to have 4 months of the lead time and be able to accomplish that. If we get ourselves in a bad situation in terms of a drought during this construction, we've got to be able to put that pipeline in a couple of weeks.
You say it's gonna go right to the treatment plant, not even go into the lake? Is that what you?
No, where this temporary would be at the West Shirley Dike by the Reservoir Inn.
Okay.
Come down, you show can there, going down Xena Highwoods Road there, Xena Road
Mhm.
from 28.
Yeah.
And our pipeline is right there by Xena Highwoods Road and Sawkill Road.
Tying that so it would go into the.
Fully treated, yeah, tree, sure. So. So this, and we can't apply for more than the 7 million on this
Right.
because for some reason that I don't fully comprehend, neither the federal government or the state government will fund dam work. I mean, we really beat the bushes to look for outside funding.
I thought there was something in the proposal about revolving loan fund or something.
But they're statutorily, they've excluded dams.
Ah, so there's no. So bonding would be what percentage then, now that?
I don't,
Because it's fairly low right now, so.
it's fairly low right now, and I'd have to ask, John Toohey's my go-to guy when I want to know for
Right.
these projections, so I don't really have a sense.
Well, he always gives us a number of that. If you were going to do, I think, bond for like 25 years, $1 million, it'd be 50,000 a year.
And he's given me similar numbers.
So we're kind of 40 years for this, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can sell 40-year bonds, I'd have to ask him about that.
Well, he kind of has it on paperwork. 40
Okay.
years, so.
The life of the work is certainly 4 years.
Right, right.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it's 140 years, right?
Hopefully.
So I'm just saying, it sounds like an exorbitant amount of money. But
It is.
to do it over 40 years, it certainly makes it more budgetable.
It's got to be done anyway, I mean.
No, I know.
it's
I'm just
statutory
talking
mandate from DEC.
Impact to the residents.
Oh, absolutely,
No,
absolutely.
that's-
And we're trying to beat the bushes to figure out a way to fund it,
Right.
creatively, but I haven't found that yet. So.
Other questions?
Best water in the state.
As long as they don't screw it up.
And I was being probably, kind to the rest of the states. We're going to get the best water in the United States. Yeah.
So, everybody clear? No more questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so,
170?
169.
But that's the bond.
169 is the bond, all right, painful as it is. So 170,
Oh, that's a big one.
look out.
Transfer $127.80 within the planning department. No financial impact.
Everybody all right with that? All right,
Number 171 is transfer of $15,000 from Parks and Recreation to cover expenses. Yeah, for the agreement with the family of Woodstock and Kingston City Schools for a summer camp for after-school children from Everett Hodge, moving $15,000 from seasonal employees into contracted services for this camp.
everybody all right with that?
Well, I have a question. I have
Yep.
a lot of questions on it. Now, it's reading it, it seems like it's for the school district. I mean, why are we offering
They're-
a summer camp for the school?
I think the school and the Hodge has a contract together, they work in
With the
conjunction.
school district?
I think so,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, because the Hodge, they actually go to the school to pick the kids up, to bring them back to the Hodge Center.
Or welcome?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it started
I
today.
know they were there this summer too,
Yeah.
at George Washington
Yeah, I
School.
saw them playing in that. Okay.
172 is a transfer of $34,475 for maintenance, equipment upgrades at Everett Hodge, which is being funded by a grant,
CDBG.
Community Development Block Grant. So the money's coming from CDBG and go right into the maintenance of the building. So I think this is an output of the building committee. Right?
So that was through last year's? Okay.
Number 173, installation of electric vehicle charging station at City Hall, for which a grant has been received, $8,000 So they're just going into the equipment to do that. So no financial impact. 174 is all.
Yeah, 174 is, last month we voted to be the lead agency for the Henry Street Safe Routes to School project. So this is making the determination of a neg deck. 2-3 months ago, the committee went through every step of this with the engineering firm and had their questions answered and felt comfortable doing this. So this is part of the secret process.
So were we waiting to make sure no other agency is going to claim lead agency status?
Right, and they did it.
They did, okay. All right. So
Does
are you
this,
okay
does
with
this
that?
take into consideration the excavation project?
Yeah.
Well, I've been talking to Kristen, making sure, I mean, this doesn't, but I know she's trying to make sure that it doesn't, you know, we don't do this and then.
Yeah, that's what she was here
Yeah, yeah, I missed when she was
Yeah.
talking, but I think that's the whole plan, I don't know if Ed knows more about that, but I know that they're working on that, so we don't have it done and then torn up again.
Right, we're looking at grants, we're really right down to the wire on this. We're currently having the lines cambered and, you know, we have the bypass pump, it's a very deep system. There are some negative impacts in there that we need to address prior to the surface work being done.
Well, it's just that, you know, they were showing us, and it's, the way they do this, they just excavate down 20 feet, and then shut the whole section of the road down before they get upper and lower sewers and
So we're looking
connections.
at lining as a possible,
He didn't mention it, he said the lining they put in last time, they're kind
well,
of,
that's failing now, but with
Right.
the upgrades since then, I mean, we're looking at all avenues, it's just a very expensive proposition. So we're trying to get a grant done by Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
you know, I
There is
think,
also a time frame. Once you declare a lead agency through seeker, there is a window of time that you actually have to make the declaration without asking for an extension. So, I mean, this is just going to negative. I don't think that Kristen's planning on, their office is planning on digging up right now on this.
well, I think they were talking that it was all kind of gonna happen at the same time
Right.
next
that's-
year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
yeah,
this year,
we
next
would be
year.
looking to do something prior to the surface work.
Yeah.
You know, that has to be done, that will have to be done prior to any surface activity.
Exactly.
But this is not about that part of the project.
Yeah, that's what-
This is about the surface part of the project.
Well, the surface will probably be gone by the time they do this project, right?
We're
You
going.
can't excavate on a new surface, you gotta
Right.
wait till that's done before you can put the new surface in, I would
Right,
think.
but this is about the surface, it's not about that project. So-
Right. Is your question, is one going to affect the other?
Yeah.
That's my
That's the
question,
question.
especially in seeker, you know, doesn't matter, it's all good.
We have to make a declaration based on today, right?
Well, they know they're doing the
excavation, they're not gonna start this project until after.
Yeah, but I think he says seeker, it's a certain time frame. That's
I
why
mean, this
they changed
particular
it.
project
We'll
does
have
not
to
have
do this all
a
over.
positive declaration, that's all this is
Right,
saying.
there's a secret
What
part
happens
of this
between now and then, I
project.
mean, a lot can happen between now and then, I
Things
mean,
are not going on at the same time. is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but we answered all these questions, and I think they would still hold. So, does anybody have a problem with voting in favor of it tomorrow night? No? Okay. So 175, this is the memorializing resolution, was this?
No, it's a public safety.
Public
Steve.
safety? Steve?
Yeah, it's a memorializing resolution, opposing the expansion of the dance camera plant. Most of the opposition revolves around fracking and diesel burning down there and the dangers that it will bring to our region.
Discussion?
I'm opposed. I will vote against it.
Can you review for us what your opposition is about?
Well, I did this in committee, so I won't do it to that extent, but I'm as much in favor of elimination of fossil fuels. I think it needs to be done long-term. I'm all for renewable energy as much as anyone else. I think we can move too quickly on this. I think this is a facility that's in place, and it may come to a point where we could need it, so we could use it. So I don't want to be too quickly on, we can move too quickly on going to, committed to non-fossil fuels. So I want to, we may need this, so I'm opposed to just, I'm opposed to essentially killing it. I realize I'm in the minority on this, but so be it.
Any discussion, response?
Doug, could you just, one more time clear that up for me? You're opposed to?
I'm
you're
opposed to the
because
memorializing resolution.
You don't want to shut down this plant because we might need it.
That's right.
Well, it's not about shutting it down.
It's
about
not shutting down,
preventing-
it's setting this plant up with the capability of burning natural gas, which is far more or less polluting in terms of pounds of CO2 per kilowatt hour of energy produced than its predecessor fuel, namely coal. It's a much, 230% better than coal. But it's still fossil fuel, I realize that. And, we're not out of fossil fuels. We're not going to be for a long time. As I said, we all drive here in cars, we all heat our houses from natural gas. A certain component of electricity will be produced by fossil fuels for a long time to come. Hopefully, we'll get to a point, and I support that, where we won't have to do this. But I think it's not wise to eliminate capital projects, capital facilities that already are built, are in place, that could be brought online if need be.
And are you opposed to the fact that it seems here that they're fracked gas is what they're using?
No, I'm not opposed to that.
You're not opposed to the fact that they frack the ground and then the gas comes out and they get contained?
I'm not opposed to to where the gas is coming from.
Okay, good.
Anybody else? So everybody else is gonna be for this tomorrow night?
I need to think about it more.
All right.
Time's up. Doug makes some good points.
So you got one thinking about it? One no, one thinking about it? All right. Next then, 176, back to finance. All the finance.
Bond ordinance for an additional $3,389,800 for funds for the complete engineering construction of the Hasbrook CSO sewer shed stormwater separation project.
Vital to the city's future. Everybody okay with this one? Anybody against improving our infrastructure?
Good.
All right, 177.
There's a budgetary transfer within DPW of $19,200 for a whole variety of things. Ed is here if he wants to speak to it, but basically no impact to the city. Transfer $19,000 between the various departments. And if there are any questions on any of the specific details, Ed can respond to them.
Any questions, concerns with this one? All right, so we're good on 177, 178.
78 is a budgetary transfer from contingency to the DPW budget involving the retirement of a sewer safety employee and Diane Berquist for $15,000 and change, and sewer regular pay for $30,000
Bond
for
ordinance. That's just the bond.
Leroy Washington. Can you remind me what that's all about?
That was for their retirement buyout.
Leroy, his retirement buyout.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What do you mean?
Doug, do you have any idea how much is left in contingency? I see there was a couple issues just tonight coming up.
There's quite a bit, but I
Oh,
can't.
there is? Okay.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
don't
fine.
have, I don't have.
I like quite a bit, sounds like an answer.
Yeah, it's
Pretty to the point, isn't it?
The well's not
It
going
looks
dry,
like
yes.
What do you say, we have to be careful?
Second, Elizabeth? There should be a bond ordinance, resolution 177, we don't have it in our packets, and then the numbers get misjogged there. So do you know anything about that?
Well, the bond ordinance, when I left today, I had gotten it.
Okay, well, apparently it's here, but this came over my shoulder.
Well, that's nice. I don't have it.
But, so basically these resolutions, they'll need to be renumbered, because resolution 177, you know, in terms of the hard copies, is actually 178 on the legislation list.
178. Is that the correct bond? Because I know Janet had changed it right before I left, there was. Is that? So the one, what you're saying 177 should not be 177?
Correct.
Right, that should be 178, everything else should be numbered after that.
Mess.
Okay, I can switch.
I have 178 as the transfer.
Yeah, there is one
Yeah, but
off.
here, here it says 177.
Ah,
That's what he said.
So it's one off as of when?
178.
177.
Yeah, that's the
Bond he's
list is
taken
the
out, I
same.
got you.
But that's just
Well, we were
178,
using
177
But
here,
this-
178.
He's waiting for the bond put in there, right?
Isn't this what he
So
just
this
gave
should
me?
actually be
Yes,
resolution.
so that's 177, and then everything else after that should be renumbered, 178
So there's
and
the
forward.
DPW budget transfer?
That should be-
There's not 178?
That should,
I
yeah,
have it as
this
177.
says on ours
Oh,
178.
Well, Jim's has a
So
Got
correct,
it all
This
right.
is
I don't know, you guys are.
This is correct.
Jim got a correct, how'd you get a correct one?
It's the hard copies.
It's, yeah, it's the.
No, but
packet.
his actually said.
Your hard, you have the right hard copy?
Yeah, look.
So we're gonna just change this 178 and everything else.
He's special.
178, 179.
You must know somebody.
I can go and do my homework.
179.
All right, so whatever the numbers are, we're good on the DPW.
Transfer.
And then we're good on the employee retirement funds transfer.
Yep.
We're good on, so
Yeah, which is,
We're okay.
should be 179.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next one,
180 should
another
be the
bond
contingency.
ordinance.
let's see, 179, sorry. So what's going on
Should be
there?
180 now.
180.
The
180.
numbers on here are correct,
Yeah,
but you're one off now on these.
180 is
so what
the,
are we discussing?
So 180.
Jacob's Valley,
Yes, Jacobs Valley.
which is number,
180.
It
180.
should be 180, it says 179.
Okay, you want a correct copy?
Mine
I'm
says
sorry, yeah,
180.
180.
okay.
This copy is
Should be
correct.
180.
Yeah, we have that correct.
I get that, 180, okay.
It's the number up here. that's wrong.
So this was additional bonding in the amount of $275 for what turned out to be increased construction costs.
Hold on a second, Doug, hold
He
on.
means
270,
thousands.
how much?
Folks,
How much is this?
folks, are we no longer attention with Doug, please?
The chair is trying to get
Oh,
everyone's
I'm sorry.
attention.
So apparently, this bill is only for $275, or?
It's
we're doing-
275,000.
Oh,
Did I say
you
275?
did.
Yeah,
Just wanna
yeah,
make
we
sure.
like that.
All right, yeah. So this is for basically, to cover higher costs, right?
Essentially, increased construction costs, which came about as the project was unfolding.
I
believe there were some-
It'd be 1.275.
Cover the amount of work as bid changes. Increase
Yeah.
from 3,350,000 to 3.625 million.
Yeah, so this was actually change orders, it wasn't just the costs were changing, they ran into 3 different sets of difficulties.
You don't believe that?
All right, Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Not really children, come on.
Not really, but again, we're fixing the city's infrastructure and it's long past due, so. All right, the next one,
We don't have a
We don't have
181.
180, the bond ordinance, so that,
We don't have 181 either. It's the bond orders for,
They didn't arrive.
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Sometimes
just,
they don't come until the very last minute.
okay.
Tomorrow.
well then,
We know
so
it's there.
but now we get back onto the right order.
Mhm.
So 183 is 183 on both, in both
So
places.
182, we have to go back.
182.
182, I have to make that motion on
So
the
we're
floor.
just sending back.
Send it back. Gotta make the motion on
Yeah,
the floor.
182 we're sending
That's
back.
the one.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought I read it clear. Okay, 182 is the one we're sending back. So now we're at 183.
Yes. You want to take credit?
This is about the energy loan program,
Oh, yeah.
laws and rules,
Yeah, so this is just the,
183.
the state has changed some of the program to make it better, but we have to sign an agreement to activate a local law to continue offering this plan. So, but it is better than it was before. I think this is now the third installment.
You lost control, man.
I'm asking you to
The chair is,
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
like all the
let the
conversation.
whole class know.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Does anybody have any
Staying after
questions?
school
Just
tonight.
changing things to now meet the new levels of what the program is.
Everybody clear on what this program does?
One thing that the committee is asking is that there be better education on the actual program, because there hasn't been many people who've opted into this. So that's something that I think I'll try and encourage either the CAC or the Climate Smart committees to come up with a plan to educate, because if we keep changing it and it keeps getting better, we should make sure folks,
Everybody,
yeah,
everybody
and-
can
yeah,
see
knows
what's
about it so they could partake.
okay.
Yeah, and so this is a great way for people to transition to newer forms of energy, so we don't have to have the dance camera playing. Thanks, Ben.
Hey, hey.
All right, so everybody good with that one then? Much problem there. Okay, 184.
No parking.
Good.
Public safety.
Steve?
Yes, sir. You really want to know about this? We decided it would be a good idea to put no parking so people didn't park across the rail trails. Pretty basic stuff.
Yep.
I think it's-
Shouldn't
I
have
can
to,
support
but-
that.
We have to.
I'm getting quite a few, the rail trail goes through my ward, I'm getting quite a few calls about people afraid of the dangers of young children shooting out into the middle of First, Second Avenue, just on their bikes, just coming right across the street, like they're not looking.
There's stop signs.
I know.
There's little people in the
But the
middle.
neighbors are concerned.
Just like on any regular street, they're
I know,
flying out.
I know.
Flying out the street.
But it's more, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
You might
it's
wanna
like a
bring-
machine gun.
You might want to bring that up either with Kristen or with engineering or DPW to see if there's some
They need
way
to
to.
paint
They're looking at it, they're looking at it.
Oh, okay.
I brought it up.
They gotta paint the line, so it makes you slow down.
Yeah, I know, they got, yeah. All I'm saying is there's a lot of concern about
Okay.
safety. Just keep
Well,
everything-
I don't think we want cars parking on there. Well, that cars parked on there would slow down people on bikes.
Right.
There's probably a lot getting used to it.
The only thing in the resolution, which I didn't see,
I'm
is
not gonna worry about
the actual dimension of the no parking. I mean, in the committee
You need
report.
25 feet on each side.
Yeah, but it's not in the resolution. That's what I'm saying.
25 feet on each side.
From the center of the trail.
I thought it was.
It's in the letter.
as per attached.
Yeah, it's in the letter, it's in the committee report, but it's not in the resolution.
Didn't we say as per attached?
Well, I think somebody should add it, so there's no question. Because these things, if I get lost, the only thing I would have is the resolution. Saying.
Good
What
point.
do you want on there, Jim?
Ah,
What do you want the word?
I just want to have on there,
Stand 25 feet.
no parking, 25 feet each side from center of the trail.
So just like the last sentence of the paragraph, the first
It is the last
paragraph,
sentence, yeah.
the last sentence, of the letter.
Just put that into the
He
resolution.
wants that on the
Yeah,
resolution.
yeah, because the letter and the committee report, that'll probably all get lost.
Mhm.
And the only thing that'll be left is the resolution that won't
Resolution.
state it.
She was saying
Yeah, but if we just add that sentence,
That's
right,
what she-
that would,
Right.
Mhm.
She's doing it.
instead of as per attached.
We'll need to, we'll need to amend that, right?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I can put that in the section 1, I can add that sentence
Yeah.
to the second paragraph, where it says no parking, I can add that, the 25 feet from the center of trail both directions.
Sounds good to me.
So
I don't
is
think
that
you need an
amendment?
amendment for
No.
that, do you, Kevin? Because it's in the committee report, it says per attached. Do you know what we're talking about?
We're just gonna move it from the per attached into the actual committee report itself.
Into the resolution, it's in the committee report too, I think.
If it's in the committee report, it doesn't have to be.
Okay,
So,
so just put it on there.
All right. 185.
Is to authorizing the mayor to
Mousy there.
apply for a grant,
Mm.
$1,700,450 for water infrastructure improvement. Just allowing him to apply for a grant
Okay.
for the Hasbro CSO.
It was in one, a previous resolution for the Hasbro?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Shifting to full-time clerk. Excuse me. Thank you.
And, yeah, we on 186?
Yes, 186. Sorry.
This is where building safety wants to move an employee from part-time to staff to full-time for increased workload. That was Steve Knox, he was here, he gave the details of why this is necessary. They just got so busy that they just got to get more people in here, and he's gonna do it by move from overtime to part-time, but that won't do it all. We need $16,000 from contingency.
And he said
And
something
I think
like,
this will be probably in the budget for next year too.
he said something like he's dealt with more cases to date than he has all last year.
Yeah, their revenue is up, so their revenue will probably cover that whole thing.
He's behind a little bit on the buildings, the rental safety, inspections or whatever. So this will help out all around. The ways they're not, this is all that we had, was this on
It's
186?
right here, it's not connected.
Yeah, it's just not stapled
It's just not
together.
stapled.
Oh,
Yeah, this,
What happened in this
that's
city?
part of it. Oh,
This
Why
doesn't
is,
wrong number.
why is this 187 in here?
It's,
That is
I think
I
that's
I think
wrong.
that pencil is just wrong. That's all still 186. The pencil marking of
oh,
187
so
is incorrect.
this is.
Because the next piece of paper
No, this
is,
is not, okay. This is 186 here. Right here.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's all
okay.
right.
All right. No, thank you. This is 186.
All right, everybody good with that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Change the fee
187, amending the fee, laws and rules.
Yeah, so the code part of the city code hasn't been updated in over a decade. So I was approached, and the mayor was approached about the fee structure there. So what this is about a year ago, was it a year, whenever it was, about a year ago, year and a half ago, we voted to have a lot of the fee structure into one section, and then the common council would vote on that. But somehow this was overlooked. So this resolution is just putting that into that, and then next month we'll come back to finance, I think, to actually then look at the prices. So this is just kind of fixing the overlook that was made a year ago, that this wasn't included in the fee structure.
All right, so then you're gonna come back and talk about discussing maybe
The
allowing,
actual
only
changes.
allowing Kingston-based businesses and all that?
Yeah,
Correct.
that just puts it into the fee schedule, just not in there
And,
now.
and I'm not really sure if it actually fits in the fee schedule, because the fee schedule is what the city charges everybody. Where this is just the city setting the limit of how much a tow person can charge. The city gets no revenue from this or anything, they just say, you know, Joe Blow can charge $200 to come tow your vehicle in snowbank in the winter. So I don't know if that would be in our fee schedule, it'd be more.
I mean, this
in
is that information, or that advice I got from Dan, so.
No,
he
I-
told me to, so I don't know, if that's not the way we should do it.
Oh,
but
I don't
just
know. It's questionable to me. You know, when's a fee scheduled, it's how much the city collects, you know, they get a
Right,
fee
I
for
don't know
everything.
if it's that or if it's pertaining more to if, like parking is out and, like during snow removal processes and people don't move their.
Oh, you think the city is gonna
It
get?
might be a city thing.
Oh, like
Yeah,
you were approached by people that wanted to get paid by the city? Or do you-
I was approached by a towing company, or actually the mayor was approached, and then the mayor brought this to my attention. So I met with the gentleman who brought this to the mayor. And then the advice I got from Port Council was to do it this way.
I think working with the police department, when they have a crash or something,
Mhm.
there's a rotational list for.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
That's kind of what that.
But the city, I don't think gets the revenue,
I know
gets
the city
anything.
wouldn't get the revenue.
That goes strictly from the tow
Right.
hauler to the individual, and I think the snow thing probably does also.
I would say, because there would be a rotational list for that.
We'll give them a fine on a ticket, and
Give
we'll
them
get
fine
that
on a
revenue,
ticket,
but
and
I
they
think
will
the
have-
towing charge is strictly.
There's probably a limited towing charge as well for pulling them out, you know.
Yeah,
removing
but
them.
strictly between the tower and the towee.
Yeah, yeah, the city's not gonna pay that.
Yeah, so I don't know if you,
Well, maybe we should refer it back.
but you know what I mean?
Bernie, you got
Yeah, I have a
light
question.
here? Yes.
Is this city code, then a local law, which means you're gonna have to amend it differently than what you're proposing? If it's
I
a
mean,
local
like I
law-
said, this is the advice that I got to do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, Kevin, if you.
I can look into it and double check.
I thought we did ordinances for all those.
Exactly, as an ordinance, but this is a code. She's going in the code, okay?
Okay.
And if it says code, it's a local law, and it has to go through that process if you're gonna amend.
And that wouldn't be listed with the ordinance.
No, it wouldn't be listed.
See, that's what I was thinking, I didn't think.
So this is your ordinance there, this ordinance, this.
Yeah, that is the
Sounds
current
like,
code.
That's the
refer
current
it back to
code.
committee.
And so in this code here, it says how much they can charge,
Yeah,
man.
there's no time rush on this. I just,
Alright,
like I
refer
said,
back
this
to
is
what
the
you-
advice that I was given to follow, so I did it, so I
So if
could.
this is the code, why is it, it
All right,
tells them how many can do?
I'll make a motion, refer it back. I think that's a good idea, Jim.
All right. So we're clear on that? All right,
One out of
and then
one.
last
Yeah,
of all is
Making
the,
it an impact.
Why we have local- You gotta read this again.
No. Local law.
Local
so
law
this
too.
refers also back to 183, resolution 183. This is the law per se that 183 talks about. All right, any questions or concerns about that?
Nope.
If not,
Can I give
yeah,
the update?
yes.
Alright, so I just.
Might want to get their attention down at that corner over there.
Yeah,
Public
they're very
signature.
chatty then.
Dang, yeah.
Can't
Did
hear
you all
each
drink a
other.
lot of coffee before tonight?
They just still here.
What?
You can't put Steve and I next to each other.
Come on.
What about this?
What?
What about the resolution for chess tables?
What resolution for chess tables?
I have some here, it's in my package. Doesn't have a number to it.
But I think that just came in, I just
Hmm?
I
think
okayed that
someone's just
Somebody's
goofing
goofing on you, cause they know, I ain't got.
Yeah,
no-
someone's just.
It's in my package, it's not in everybody else's.
No, I only signed it to go to committee today.
You didn't assign it?
Today I did. So not for tonight, for next month.
Oh,
committee.
okay, well, it's in, okay.
It's your special.
Yeah.
TR Gallo Park,
Advanced
right?
Startup homework.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
So next one.
Next one.
Okay.
if you give your attention to Andrea for an update.
Yes, this is the traffic device procedure that we voted on last month and passed. Just wanted to update you on the process. So we all met to work with Kyle to figure out how this is going to move forward. So everything from the August public safety agenda is now on John's desk, the engineer. So he will be looking at each of those. And he said he would be able to get all of his analysis and recommendations done before the September meeting. So all of that we tabled, we'll have the recommendations or non-recommendations from the
Okay.
engineer's office, so that you're not gonna go through the forms. Anything new, Kyle said that, it will only take him a couple days to get this up and running. So anything new brought to the council will just plug into the form. We'll have it set up digitally through the 311 app. Everything that goes through that, all the aldermen will be alerted for anything that has to do with this procedure. And it will also be active, so you'll be able to follow the activity, and when John is done with his analysis, it will also be alerted. Any of the handicap signs, we set it up so it will be a quicker process, so that we could, not have to wait a month, but everybody who wanted to be involved will be alerted through this. And like I said, that will be updated started in the next few days. So anything that Jim has sent through communication for September, we'll just get that going. Ed's department made up the hard copies, which we'll have in different areas. So, in City Hall and DPW. So if anybody doesn't want to do it digitally, they'll be able to have the form that will then be sent to the engineer's office.
Yeah, John sent me something about what he got somehow found on his desk that Ardsley and Smith Avenue. And I replied back to him. That was done a month
You know
ago.
what? Yeah, I forgot to tell him before that. So therefore, he is already moving on. And our meeting was today. So
I have a question. So a communication that I put in last week that's going to be on tomorrow's communications.
yes,
So I would have to fill out that form now? Or if it's already on the communications, is that already on his desk?
it will not be. No, anything that's not that Jim will have just sent in will not be on his desk. So we would have to plug it in either in a
Okay.
hard copy, which I could get you, or we could do it as an app.
Okay.
Or if you want, we could just tell John, ask him to do it. But
Okay.
yeah, it'll
Well, he
be.
was CC'd on the communication, but I don't have a problem filling it out. I just want to know the
Yeah,
process.
it'll be good practice to
Right.
check out the 311 app.
Okay.
So it still is not, there's still a little bit of wiggle room, but I'll just follow up too and make sure once I see what's on the agenda, I'll follow up to make sure that John actually gets it, because I know there is still a little limbo until it's completely set up.
So what about all resolutions that were passed previously, a couple months ago, that has not, removal of signs or things like that, that hasn't happened yet?
Well,
Is that process going through this?
No.
That's
Everything
already,
is,
so it's
is.
not retro.
No.
Yours went out today from our office to our foreman.
Did you look at that?
Right.
Did you
Yeah,
get
it's
my-
not gonna go back into.
So I'm just saying, so if
Progress.
anybody calls me for something that has already passed, I can tell them that, okay, we'll just, you're on the list. So you're done. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna go back and do anything.
Okay.
So, it's just anything that was tabled on the August 25th meeting. That, like I said, John now has it and is going to do it, and said he'd get it for the next meeting. And I'll just keep track of it over the next month or so, just to make sure. And then he'll also, Kyle's gonna send us because we've never really been alerted, actually we have not been alerted through the 311 app that a lot of the departments have. So this will be a first for us.
Oh,
So he'll kind of set us up through that too.
so we can get updates. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah. I mean, just for anything here. It's not like we're gonna now get updates and alerts for everything that the whole city gets. So, yeah, your phone's not gonna go crazy. I mean,
Starting in January.
I wouldn't mind that.
I would imagine that, once this is
Can
made
you start
public,
it,
and
can you
people-
start it in January?
when people start, seeing that they could do this, I'd imagine we'd get an uptick of people submitting requests. But I would think that it would kind of mellow down after a while.
Get a
And
little
go back
shock,
to the
a little
average. Yeah,
electric
yeah.
shock.
So, and Kyle, when we talked to him today, informed us nothing that he's doing is set in stone. So if changes need to happen, just let us know, and through the system. If it's not working or you think anything could be better, it's a learning process. Does that answer everything that everybody? All right, cool. Thank you.
Anything else before we adjourn?
Do we have to do, what about this Italian American Foundation?
That's just an invitation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's his invitation, right? It's not.
We don't need to discuss that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I'm playing at it. If anybody wants to hear
Oh,
something.
you're
Oh, well, then maybe we should
Oh,
discuss
yes,
it
yes.
then.
We should go.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.